Here we go. Hello, guys. Let us know if you hear any echoes or any sound issues or anything like that. We're just going to run with it, see how it goes. But we have Sam from Life After Life ITC here, and we have Brett from Wolf Paranormal.
Morning.
Good morning. How are you all?
I'm fine, thank you.
Morning.
Good morning. Um, Anybody who drops in that would like to go and check out their channels, if you don't have them already, the link is pinned to the top of the chat. So you can find their links there or in the description below. All right, I don't have a topic for today, so we're just running with it. We'll just talk about whatever comes up.
Well, that's a good start.
Yeah. Woo! uh, Anything interesting happen over the past week that anyone wants to share or anything else?
Not that I can think of.
Sam?
Well, it's been an interesting week with the sessions and stuff like that, and yeah, I mean, like, if you're a skeptic of ITC and that, and you heard some of the stuff that I heard in the last week, you'd be going, wow,
Yeah.
it's been flipping amazing. So much so that a friend of mine who's into computer, computers, that's her job. Her pastime is actually mixing and she's got a audio studio. Like this thing is humongous. It takes a whole room at the side of her sitting room, and it's just all buttons and screens and everything. Some of this stuff I just fail to understand. It, it's just it's just a sea of buttons and mixers and all sorts of shit. And
Mhm.
it's one or two of the sessions caught her attention, because
Yep.
before that you said, it's a radio and it's the mute is gone and it just bits of radio and stuff. But when she seen me asking for my name as a sound check, as a communications check, and them coming out with "Hi Sam" and that, she
Mhm.
was going flipping out.
Yeah.
I'm interested in this. I'd love to help, you know.
That is
And
phenomenal.
yeah. You see, I know nothing about audio.
Mhm.
I know absolutely nothing. I do the sessions. I gather information. That's all I can do. But I'm trying to learn. You know,
Mhm.
I have actually equipment that I don't even know how to flip and use at this moment in time. I've got this soundboard that every time I look at it, I get an anxiety attack. There must be about 100 knobs and buttons on this thing, and I look at it and I'm going flipping out. How the hell am I supposed to get around this thing?
Yep.
You know, and yeah, she knows a lot about layers of audio and stuff like that, and how to strip away audio to get EVPs and stuff like that. So,
But I think
um,
this will be a good learning curve for you too, especially if she lets you sit in while she plays around with the audio, because it's another part of the ITC, I guess, in the audio level that you can start to learn even more about, the audio and, that side of ITC. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, I mean, like what we need, say, in the paranormal is we need more experts.
Yes, we do.
We need more experts in the film industry, audio industry, audio engineers, and stuff like that. That helps a lot.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, yeah, we may be enthusiasts and we may be really enthusiastic about the paranormal, but do we have the skills?
Hmm.
And the big question is, is people willing to learn that a new skill in order to go forward with the paranormal, you know.
Yep.
So to have people like this interested is really, really good, you know.
Hmm.
You know,
It
and
definitely is.
you see that when you have people like Joshua Shaw, an audio engineer who's into ITC. He started his own channel not too long ago, and you know, I'm looking forward to hearing more what he has to say. I mean, like, I don't care if it's geeky and it's hard to understand. Just tell us, just teach us. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You know, it's more about the learning than sort of YouTube presentation, if you know what I mean.
Hmm.
Some of the learning and some of the stuff behind the scenes, the average person isn't going to be interested in. But you know, you or I, as an enthusiast, would be willing to learn new things in
Mm.
order to go forward in this. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I do. It's good though for people to, and this is why I encourage people to go listen to some of your ITC sessions or other people's ITC, is because when they're watching other channels as well, you start to hear the difference. Um, not, I'm not saying anything bad about anyone out there, but there are some sessions that I've heard in other people's videos where they will hear things that I just don't hear. I hear sounds or parts of words or something, but I don't hear full words. And it kind of feeds back into the, well, is this audio pareidolia? With yours, there are words that come through your boxes, especially those intelligent responses when they're acknowledging you. Hi, Sam. You know, that you cannot deny really what you're hearing. And I think when people come in and they listen to that, they can then start asking questions for themselves and looking at things from a more
Yeah,
skeptical point of view. Yeah.
yeah. Do you know, the last 2 weeks have absolutely been fantastic. You know, since I got this Timex radio and that,
Hmm.
and the more responses that I was getting, the more humbling and more thankful I've been. And that's not people when they get responses. Sometimes they pat themselves in the back.
Yeah.
What goes through my head is who are these people?
Hmm.
Do you know? And they spoke to me.
Yep.
I'm an ordinary person. You know, it's not. Do you know? People go, oh, thanks guys for the compliments on the responses I got. You know, and you know you've got these people. There is people out there that you know put themselves up on a pedestal. We're communicating with a communicator from an unknown source,
Hmm.
and it's them that give us that that communication, and that's what goes through my head all the time. You know, anybody that has the equipment that I have, in time, not just do a session every week or do one every couple of weeks. If if anybody even in the chat, if they had the same radio as me, and they done one session every day, all of a sudden you may get nothing for about a couple of weeks. Next thing it will
Hmm.
start, and it'll keep going because I think it's sort of you know if you only do one the odd time, when you think about it, how does these communicators know when to communicate? But I went over the top, and I've done 2 or 3 sessions a day. So the radio has been on for a couple of hours a day.
Hmm.
So maybe that helps. I don't know, but even once a day on a familiar time, say in the evening about 7, 8, and 9 o'clock,
Mm.
every night. So it's not so much the operator, it's the communicators themselves who are very limited in their information sometimes, but sometimes they can come out, they will let you know that they're there, you know.
Yeah.
some people say that some people say that 9 times out of 10 you're going to get nothing. To be honest with you, that came from a person that does a session every couple of months. You know,
Yeah.
the more you do it, the more you will get. You know, but you have to be humble about this. This is not. Don't get a big head over it.
Yeah.
There's communicators out there that are communicating, and it's them that done the communication.
Mm.
Yes, you're part of it and that, but a lot of people forget on YouTube. They forget about the communicators and they give themselves a pat on the back, and that's not good either. You know.
Mm. Yeah. It's also to the fact of, and we've touched on this like way back in the beginning when we started streaming, is that a lot of the um, a lot of the content on YouTube and other places is to do with ghosts, demons, things like that. The things that, they think people want to see, whereas the paranormal is so much more. And as you've been saying the last couple of times we've spoken, whatever is coming through on these sessions that you're doing could be absolutely anything. We don't know who's coming through. So,
Yeah, we can speculate, and
mm,
there, there may be dead people that
mm,
went
yeah,
on to another plane of existence.
yeah,
The common information that I'm getting is there's a number of planes of existence in this world. We're on one of them planes of existence. Now there may be multiple planes, and we're tapping into those planes of existence. You know,
yeah.
but even scientists, I seen a documentary during the week where this scientist came up with this theory that we have copies of ourselves in different levels of existence.
Wow.
It doesn't make any sense to me, but it's baffling.
Hmm.
You know, is that a possibility? I don't know.
Do you know?
But
I've
I
got
don't
to.
label. I stopped
Mm.
labeling spirits as spirits.
Leading into what you just said about other dimensions and copies of ourselves and things, I had a really weird couple of experiences this past week, which led me back to thinking about deja vu and about people claiming to know things about past lives. So, one time this week, I was in the kitchen and the cat I let into the sunroom, which is off the kitchen area, and she had her biscuits and everything else, and I left the door open a little bit so she could come in when she finished. So anyway, I saw her come in and she took off, and I was like, I had her milk ready for her, and I was like, oh, okay, you don't want your milk. So I sat it down near the kitchen door and I closed the door, to the sunroom so the cold doesn't come in. So went about doing my chores and things. Oh, I'll go and say hello to her. So I went down to my room because she hops on the end of my bed. She's not there. So I'm searching the house for a good 10, 15 minutes. Eventually I'm like, this is weird. So I came back, I opened the sunroom door, and she's still in the sunroom. So I saw something come through that wasn't her. Then a couple of days after that, one of the kids came in and was saying, oh, there was scratching on the bathroom door, like a cat scratching. And there was something else that happened, I think, yesterday. Oh, it was like a light banging on the door, like when Pussum pushes on the door to want to come in. And I thought to myself, wouldn't it be kind of funny if some of that bled into ours at times? Do you know what I mean? Like, what if this is something else, or a memory or something else that I'm experiencing and thinking it's something real that's happening now, but it's not? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There are so many possibilities and no certainties, you know,
Mhm.
at this moment in time. You know,
Yep.
we may, we may crack it in the next 20 years, or we may not. You know, with the technology, the way technology is advancing. You know,
Yeah.
when you talk about the science field, paranormal explanation is not. It's not an acceptable answer in science. And it's all to do with measuring things and proving things, and that maybe science will be a major factor, maybe it won't. I don't know.
Yep.
You know, because you've got this mixture in the paranormal. You've got the mixture of spiritual and scientific,
Mhm.
and that's a mix that's sometimes a confrontation. There's a confrontation between both of them. You know, where you have spirituality, which very often is revolved around belief in fate, where belief in fate isn't really accepted in science, in the science field sort of thing. You know, so it
Yep.
is an interesting mix, and it makes it paranormal that little bit more complicated, if you know what I mean.
Mm. Yeah, I do. Yeah, look, as I said, what was it? One of my vlogs or something like that, I touched on the paranormal stuff because I saw a video off, I think it was Rick. Rick was talking about, the paranormal, and, some people are having a go at other people because of the way they're doing things and that. And as I said last time, and Sam actually spoke about it too, is that we all have different opinions and we all do things different ways, and it doesn't mean that any one person's way is right or wrong, and it's all research. As long as you look at it, as um, a learning curve, and you keep your skepticism at a healthy amount, I think that it all goes toward the greater cause, hopefully, as long as we're
See,
keeping it real.
there's a problem. There's a problem in the paranormal where people get their favourite streamers and they latch on to what they say and take it as gospel. So everybody else is suddenly discounted, or this what this person is saying is 100% fact, and that's never the case. What I say, what Julia says, what Sam says, it's only what we personally believe.
Yeah.
It's not. We can't say whether it's 100% right or 0% right, and people just need to listen to what people say and accept it as a possible explanation, not as the gospel explanation.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we don't all agree or on the same things either, but we can get up here and we can have discussions, and we don't argue about it or anything else. We're like, yeah, well, I can see how you think that way, and what about if you thought about it this way, and I think that's a healthy thing, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
very
I
true.
mean,
Everyone's
for
unique. Yes.
example, I think Brett might be familiar with this person.
Hmm.
I'm not gonna say any names, so I'm not gonna cause anything. Um, there was this guy, I watched a video of us yesterday going on about lights on their spirit box,
Mm-hmm.
and it's one of his pet hates, the flashy lights and stuff, and it he says it makes the paranormal field and the ITC field look like a bit of a flippin' circus. You know, he was on about these strip lights. You know these little. You know when you talk, these lights, the levels go up and down and that.
Yeah.
That actually is a useful thing in itself. It shows that your audio is lined up with your spirit box and your scan and stuff. There can be very useful information in that. But another thing about lights, he probably was going down the line of these people are copying this certain person with this spirit box enhancing machine, if you know what I mean. But the thing is, before all of that, Frank Sumption had a couple of little LEDs around the little spirit box that he made. You know? And I've asked about colours of lights, and I got colours. You know, I got responses and colours and stuff like that. The other thing is, you know, people put extra lights on their car to personalise it.
Mm-hmm.
What's wrong with putting a couple of lights on a radio?
Nothing.
Is it really that bad? Like, you know what I mean?
Yep.
It's personalisation, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And that particular guy commented on one of my videos way back when I did use a lot of lights, and he says I can't take anyone seriously that uses that many coloured lights. Yes, I seen a video of his from a couple of years back where there was not lights on the radio itself, but the background was going red and blue and pink and orange, and you know, the same guy was talking about he done a stream with a couple of others talking about how bad celebrity spirit box sessions are.
Yeah.
When he done one himself, and he says, well, people can call me out for that, but I didn't actually mention the person's name, and I went through that spirit box session, and he did mention their name, and he did get loads of view of the title of that high profile death.
Mm-hmm.
So, people need to look into their past before they start calling out stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, people's opinions can change in that. But to be honest with you, I think this person sort of he put this impression on himself that he was better than anybody else, and since then he's just got fed up with YouTube because nobody's listening to him. But it's just there's all kinds of personalities on YouTube and that, and you just have to be careful of what their intentions are. I learned that big time this week.
The thing is that Sam, when you're dealing with something like ITC on a platform like YouTube, things like lights are actually really useful because people like to see a visual thing on YouTube. And if they're sitting there just listening to audio stuff all the while, a lot of people are going to get turned off. They come onto YouTube to see things primarily. So, I've got no problem with people using lights in ITC because they are a visual prop and really useful on a platform like YouTube.
It's all a learning curve too. Like you probably won't hear anyone saying this.
YouTube doesn't.
Go, Sam.
Brett brought up a great point there, and that's why in some of my videos now you'll see a separate recording with frequency counters and things moving. YouTube doesn't like pictures not moving. If it's not constant, they're going to say, well, it's something to do with repetitiveness.
Yeah.
So if you have if your screen is moving randomly, YouTube won't call you out for that. But if you have, say, a spirit box and you can barely see the scan, that could be classed as repetitiveness, and your videos may not go out. So having a bit of movement in the screen would possibly help with the YouTube getting your stuff out. And as well as that, as Brett says, if people are going to listen and and they have the screen up, they need something to see. They need something to focus on, sort of thing. And maybe they do see the scan, but people get bored very quick. So visualization is a good thing. But the thing about the lights is personalization. If people want to do it, do it. It doesn't enhance communication. And this person wants to be, he wanted to come across more scientific and blah blah blah. Whatever. There's no harm in a bit of creativity, and people will appreciate that. It doesn't have to be all very serious.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that, like, as I was going to say before, like, everything's a learning curve too. Like, I will admit that way back in the beginning when I started and I bought my very first spirit box, and we're talking about the PSP7, which Sam hates, back with my yeah, with my very first spirit box, I went out and I did sessions, and all I knew was what I had seen other people on YouTube, on their videos. So I went out and I made my little videos, and I'd come back and I'd do my editing, and I would put the words up on the screen of everything I heard. And back then, because I knew nothing about it, I thought everything that came through the spirit box that I heard was a ghost talking to me. And I will admit that. And over time, experimenting for myself, watching ITC and a lot of other different channels on YouTube, I have learnt that the truth is very, very different from that, So, yeah.
Cemeteries Down Under's just made a very interesting. Sorry, just made a very interesting comment in the what's it. Dedra's talking about people hearing the names called out while they're in a room on their own, which I've mentioned on streams in the past happening to me where I've heard my name called. And CD said they used to hear their mother's voice calling them, but since she's died, it hasn't happened. It does make you wonder how many of these phenomena that people experience are actually being generated by the living and not other things.
Yeah. There's this scientific study about us having a copy of ourselves in different dimensions and stuff like that. I can't even begin to get my head around what that's all about.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe that's a possibility. I don't know.
Well, a lot of people believe in doppelgangers, don't they? And people have claimed they've met their doppelgangers.
Yeah, I don't know how many times online I've come across someone on TikTok or something else, and they won't be like having all the makeup and cosplay stuff on, but you're like, oh, is that such and such? And this is before the fake web stuff and all of
Yeah.
that. And you could swear it's a certain person, and it's not. It's just that they look exactly the same.
I've had my voice a couple of times come up on the spirit box. One time when I was actually a couple of miles from my house, actually, the spirit box was on in the house here. My voice came through on the spirit box. I don't know how that works, but it's happened a
Yeah.
couple of times.
I've only ever had it happen once to me, and luckily, while I was doing a video which is on my channel, which was the fairy garden that we did with Andy and Becky, and I actually heard my voice come through the radio. But that's the one and only time I've ever actually heard myself.
That's where audio engineers would be very, very useful. Because you can get this software that can match up a voice with a
Yeah,
person.
the tones and that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
there's all sorts of different things to different tones and frequencies and all this kind of stuff that I have no idea about, to be honest
Yeah.
with you.
Mm.
A little bit of knowledge does help, you know.
Greetings, Seago.
Hi, Seago.
Hello, Seago.
Jazzy, what did you want to know about, what was it? Astral projection.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah, Jazzy asked you at the beginning about, she wants to know about astral projection. I know we've touched on this before, but
Astral projection is actually it's a very important aspect of Buddhism,
mm-hmm.
because the Buddhists Buddhists actually believe that they're, I don't know how they class the tiers of their monks, but apparently higher tier monks do it as a matter of course.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know whether I can't say I've ever actually experienced it myself. But saying that, who's to say deja vu ain't some form of astral projection, where you've projected yourself forward a little bit in time, seen something, and then your mind suddenly remembers it when you actually catch up to that time point. Who knows?
Well, some people have said that, when you're in the middle of a dream, or you're just nodding off to sleep, and all of a sudden you feel like you're falling out of bed and you jolt awake.
Oh God, yeah, I have that loads of times.
Oh, I've had that heaps of times growing up. Some people reckon that that's astral projection and you coming back into your body. Yeah.
I actually read a book on astral projection once, and they actually mentioned that topic. And their explanation for it was, whether it's true or not, I don't know, that apparently when your soul leaves the body, it starts to vibrate at a faster frequency, and as you come back into the body, the soul has to slow down the frequency, and that's what the jolt is. That was the explanation in the book.
Have they done any sleep studies on people that claim to astral project?
The government have done loads of governments all around the world have conducted and are still conducting astral projection experiments, because they want to use it as a form of spying.
I'm going to have to look into it and see if there's any information out there on sleep studies and things like that. Yeah.
During the Cold War, you got the Russians, the Chinese, the British, and the Americans had all got massive astral projection projects going.
Okay, so Jazz says, I want to know, if you see spirit, why can't you see entities as well, And how is it so dangerous? And how does it even work?
Who knows? I have no idea how it would work.
I have seen something else other than a ghost. And
Yeah,
it
I
was,
have.
yeah.
I saw that black thing on the stairs. That definitely wasn't a ghost. That wasn't a
Julianne's
ghost.
going to come out.
What was that?
Julianne going to come out and come back in again because nothing is in sync.
Okay.
Okay.
All
I'm going
right.
to come out and I'm going to come back in again. See you in a
Okay.
minute.
All right. Um, and it's ironic too because you were awake. You were fully awake when that happened. Well, the first time. um, and I swear to this day that if it was an astral projection, and I'm positive it was that I saw a reptilian, but it was
Mm-hmm.
walking upright like a person, except that it was reptilian and it had a
Yeah.
cloak and that on. So
Yeah. That thing was reptile like on the stairs. It was like an alien clone, alien drone off the Aliens film. Not
yep.
exactly the same, but that kind of chitinous shell and reptilian looking.
And the way it moved.
Yeah.
Yeah,
With the
yeah.
big long clawed fingers as well.
What else does she say? If you die while astral projecting, you die in real life. Oh, hang on. Is that when you fall? If you die, I think she means, you know how they say that if you fall off a cliff in your dream,
Yeah.
you die in real life?
That is an urban legend, but apparently you could die, obviously, because of the shock to your heart. It could trigger something like an heart attack or something like that. But if you dream you're falling and you hit the ground, doesn't necessarily mean you're automatically gonna die.
Hmm. Yeah, I've heard that too. Kim said some people are tethered to their soul by a lifeline,
Yeah,
and sometimes it can get cut. Yeah,
yeah. Well,
yeah.
if you read a lot of what mediums and stuff write about, and people who are into astral projection, a lot of them do mention this. Basically, it's like an umbilical cord of light. And there used to be a famous medium over here named Doris Stokes who wrote loads and loads of books. And she was a nurse, and she's actually written numerous times about being present at the point of death of somebody and seeing the cord actually snap.
Wow. Okay, hang on. I hardly dream. I gotta go back. Hang on. I hardly dream of my mum. She's been gone 14 years. I'm sorry if you lost Jazz. I only dreamt of her once 3 weeks after she died. She was in a waiting room with other people. She was sitting there with two men and a huge folder of her life. She didn't know she was dead. I wonder if that was the Hall of Records.
See, again, you've got to take into consideration as well what people's personal belief systems are, because when people are grieving, particularly, they're at a very vulnerable state, and your mind has to find some way of processing grief, and that could just be that it's using your belief system to generate a situation that is helping you to cope with the loss.
Yeah, yeah. See, yeah, that's where I always get, like Julia said there, I've always had the talent to hear the dead. They tell me it's like being stuck in a dream when you die and there's no sense of time. See, I've always had the question of, um, because I've seen things too, but who's not to say that that's not stone tape? Do you know what I mean? But when people die, our soul, if we believe, is made of an energy, which I believe it is as well.
Yeah.
So when you die, everything that you've experienced here, you kind of go back and you go through it and blah, blah, blah. And it's like you're back in the place where you come from, source, whatever. And some people say that our souls get stuck here, especially if they violently die. They get ripped out of the body and they get stuck here. That question has always stuck with me, and I was like, how?
Personally, I don't think that happens. Personally, I think that what has brought that kind of belief up is stone tape theory, where things, especially where death happened around really emotionally charged situations, what's happened actually imprints in the surrounding area. We all know what stone tape theory is.
Yeah.
And that is why it replays that thing over and over again. And I think that is more likely to have what's led to the belief of people believing souls are trapped here. Because you can't trap energy in any shape or form. Oh yeah, Jazz, I'm in unfinished business. I believe there are certain things that hang around because they have things they want to complete or finish.
Yeah, I read a book that the book that I've mentioned before that I read on past life regression and things like that. One of the past lives that this doctor had regressed, they were talking about when the soul gets back to where it's at home, and you sit down and you run through everything you've experienced in your life, and did you learn everything that you've come here to learn? Because we all want to experience certain things, and yeah, I don't know. It fascinates me so much.
Yeah, I believe we come back time and time again to learn lessons, and I believe we actually pick where we want to turn up each time. We pick the situation that's most likely to put us in the situation where we're going to experience what we want to learn.
Yep, I think so too.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. Is it a bit better for you now?
I don't know. Yeah, it is. It is. It was nothing was in sync.
Yeah, I noticed you were delayed.
You know, so I had to just reboot the whole system.
See, cemeteries down under where you're talking about what the dead have told, in quotes. You've got to be very careful about making statements like that because you've got no proof whatsoever that they're dead people that are telling you these things. All you can claim is that something is actually telling you these things. You can't actually 100% bona fide state that it's the dead.
About the emotional pain and that.
Yeah.
I talked about it recently in a video that I haven't even uploaded yet. I mentioned about my nan, and we've spoken about this before, about how sometimes you lose a loved one, and no matter how much you try, you cannot make contact with them. And why can't we make contact with them? And maybe it's got to do with the fact that us here that are left on the human plane, we mourn the loss of those that we lose. Perhaps they don't want to come back and cause us more grief than we've already gone through, or perhaps they're reincarnated, or perhaps that they just don't feel like they have to come back because that's a human kind of a thing, you know.
See, it's quite a popular theory in reincarnation circles that souls do actually reincarnate within a subgroup of souls. So basically, families stay together through the ages. They just come back as different family relationships. So so your grandmother could come back as your grandchild, sort of thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is quite a common belief in reincarnation circles.
Mm.
Yeah. And then you've got this other theory of levels of existence where you can tap into certain levels of existence, but when you go to the upper levels of existence, you can't.
Mm-hmm.
You know? But
Yeah.
that's more speculation than theory, to be honest with you.
Yeah. See, I've lost, obviously, my grandparents. All my grandparents are dead, but I have lost two brothers and a sister. And I have never had a single contact of a single family member ever. And I've been doing this for 40 years, and I have not once had a single communication of any of my family. Not once.
The only person that I swear that I got something from was the kid's nan, and I won't say names or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Not my nan, their other nan.
Yeah.
I think it was about 3 words come through the spirit box, or the box, should we say? And it was in her voice because she had an English accent. She come from London,
Mm-hmm.
and her voice was very specific. But that was it, just those 3 words. Never heard anything again.
I've had, in the last 2 weeks, I've had a name of a friend that passed away.
Mm-hmm.
And recently I've got the second name. But that only proves to me that the name has been mentioned.
Yeah.
It doesn't exactly mean that it's her.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
See, this is what I'm around for people about automatically presuming or communicating with dead people. You don't know what you're talking to. There's evidence. There's plenty of evidence out there that something is communicating. There's zero evidence out there that says it's somebody dead, and that's what you've got to be very careful of.
Yeah, it's very interesting that in certain periods of time, one particular name will come up,
Mm-hmm.
and that name will come up morning, noon, and night.
Yeah.
So how could that be radio?
Yeah.
And how could a radio, for example, Ethan is a name that's coming up regularly on mine now. Ethan and Aaron. And I'm thinking out the possibility might be there. That I've been watching a lot of the H3 podcasts lately. There's a guy on there called Ethan Twine. Now, could it be possible that the communicators are picking up this name and just repeating it back to me?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know?
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, Sam, until we get definitive proof of what we are communicating with, we can't say how they're getting this information. They're obviously getting it because it's accurate. But until we can definitively say one way or the other it's coming from deceased people, you've got to be very careful of just latching onto this thing that it's the dead talking to you, because it very well might not be.
Yeah. That's why I'm not labeling anything. But it's very strange that devils and demons are coming up a lot this week.
I noticed that coming through the box again.
Yeah.
Now,
I don't point out a lot of this stuff, and I miss it in real time. But I played that session back 3 or 4 times because I'm putting other stuff in to help with the visuals and stuff. And there's sometimes I'd say I wasn't that impressed with that session. I don't know, it didn't click with me. But now when I played it back, I'm going, whoa. You know, so Demon has come up and Devil, Satan has come up, but Demon and Devil has come up a lot for some reason. And when you listen to the radio, you don't get it off that often.
No.
You know, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, it is.
I do take the piss sometimes. You know, I say it's Desmond there.
That's why when I put up that post asking people what they thought a demon was, I'm like, Desmond?
Yeah. I have this age coming through a lot. And pretty often I will go Edward or Eddie or things like that sort of thing. You know?
Yep.
But it's weird. It's just these names. And there's times I couldn't sleep and I got up and done sessions in the middle of the night and these names are still coming through. So you know, it couldn't be radio.
Well, we know there's words that are just never used on radio, i.e. swear words, and how many times do they come round?
A lot this week, actually. A lot this week, actually.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, that's interesting. Seago, if I can find the first part, let me go back. The Monroe Institute studies came up with some pretty conclusive evidence of astral projection being a real phenomenon, controlled experiments, etc. There's a course of tapes available from them, meaning if we would be broken subconsciously or psychologically by the experience, there are rules in place to protect us from that.
Yeah, well, if you deep dive into Buddhism, especially, you know, like in Tibetan places like that, Tibetan monks have been stating this for hundreds of years. They've been practicing this stuff for hundreds of years.
Yep.
I think what we're trying to ask and we're trying to get information on is very often classified. And very often people ask the straight up answer. What you need to do is kind of trick them with a number of questions leading to that specific answer. You know, I have asked a number of times, where are they? You know, and I have to analyze that question. How can I ask that question in a sneaky, roundabout way?
Yep.
Or in a different way to try and get a result, rather than asking them straight up the same question and they're not giving me an answer. Well, why am I asking the same question? So we have to analyze that question and come around a different way. I know it's a kind of a sneaky thing to do, but you kind of have to try to trick them into an answer, kind of thing.
Do you know what I would like to see someone from audio do? And this may just be absolute rubbish and it may be nothing, but you know, for instance, The Conjuring, and don't laugh at me here, but in The Conjuring...
You watch that bloody film too much.
I do, I love it. In the second one, they put the two pieces of audio and play them together and it plays a whole message instead of just separate words. Sometimes when you're listening to the box, you can hear a certain voice come through. Something you know isn't radio, let me specify that. You hear a voice come through. What if they were giving you a message like that that's broken up, that they're waiting for you to piece together, and we just haven't done that as yet?
Well, there's quite a famous case of something like that happening years ago, and it involved a lot of really famous mediums. I think they were around about the 30s and 40s time, and there was 5 of them actually from all different parts of the world over the space of a few weeks, I think it was. Each received a fifth of this message, and none of them understood their own little part, but when they were all put together, they formed one big communication. I'm going to have to look it up, but I know it was a lot of, it was about 5 of quite well-known mediums at the time. And once all their messages were put together, they actually tied together into a whole.
Wow. That's kind of mind-blowing. And they didn't know each other?
Gotta remember too.
They weren't in touch with each other at the time.
Oh, okay.
But what was in,
Very often some of the old,
if I remember right, some of the messages actually stated where to look for the next message. And that was how they pieced it all together.
Okay.
there has been cases where people use the cassette tape recorder, and when they play it back, it was all garbled up. But when they turned the other side of the tape, that's where they got their EVP.
Yeah.
On the opposite side of the tape, than they recorded on.
That's right, I'm just reading, I'm just catching up with the chat.
Yeah, me too. Talk to him. Talk to who? Someone from Deidre.
Deidre says there's a Navajo walked right through her in the bed.
Oh, that's all right, Sego. I actually thought they kind of blended together well, those two comments.
They did actually.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, astral. I think there are so many things in the world of the paranormal that just that they could be delved in, but we need to find ways to do it because, as we said, science is only going to go so far because of the way that the community and that is. But gosh, it would be nice.
I seen a stream from Joshua Shaw, 0GITC, and he had this guy on who lives in a cabin,
Mm-hmm.
and they're called the cabin sessions. This guy does his sessions once a month at the end of the month in the basement of his cabin.
Mm-hmm.
And he was at times using cards, randomly picking a card, putting it face down on the table, and the dice tricking it. And sometimes the number that came up on the dice, the communicator came up with a number before the dice landed. So that might indicate that time and space is completely different in the paranormal world.
Could be.
That they could possibly see future events.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's part of the law of physics. The closer you get to the speed of light, the actual rate of time varies. Time does physically dilute. So, that's quite possible, Sam.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that, Seago.
Mm. There are rules in place to prevent loved ones communicating with certain types of people. Absolutely.
Yeah, I totally agree with that comment.
Mm. I agree too. I mean, if, say, for instance, I died, I know for a fact that I'd want to come back, as my human feelings tell me now. I would want to come back, and I would want to talk to my children if I had the chance, and make sure that they were doing okay and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But what's not to say that there are those rules in place that's going to stop me from doing that, because it would hurt them more than it would help them.
We'll take it
So,
on a slightly different tangent.
mhm,
Who's to say once you cross over, that urge to do that disappears?
exactly. Because you no longer have those earthly needs, those earthly connections.
Yeah, and not only that, if like what Tam was talking about,
Hmm.
if time is different, their time on Earth could be a blink of an eye to you in the other into the other in the other side of things. So there'd be no need to.
Yep.
In that blink of an eye to you, they'd have grown up, aged, and died and joined you.
Yeah, they'd follow you right behind. Mm,
Yeah.
very true.
Yeah. When it comes to communication and that, and we learn things over time. What I started doing recently was, rather than jump to a conclusion, this communicator is responding to me. Can I do a communications check, please? Can you say hi, Sam? Can you hear me right now? And then you get the hi, Sam.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm not going to call them the Spurs, because I won't call you a fellow human being. That's not what we do in our society. So I'm talking to another person as far as I'm concerned. Now, I do have my beliefs that possibly I'm talking to a dead person, but I'm not going to put that out there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just, it's like, I just clean the slate clean, because sometimes we can be influenced by others and follow that same trend of thought.
Yeah.
So the last couple of weeks I've been in this as if I'd never seen a paranormal program. I've never seen other people do this.
Mm-hmm.
There's somebody talking. Who is it?
Mm.
And I think that approach works.
Yep.
You know,
Hmm.
maybe I might be fooling the communicator. They might know what I believe, but I just thought it was. I think it was important for me
Mm-hmm.
to sort of put all those influences aside and just start fresh again.
Yeah.
Yep.
See, and this is like what I was saying earlier. When you do this stuff, you've just got to accept the fact you're getting communication. You've got to wipe all other beliefs out of your head.
Yeah,
You cannot make the assumption you're talking to aliens. You can't make the assumption you're talking to dead people. You can't make the assumption you're talking to somebody from another reality. The only assumption you can make is you are actually communicating with something. Because the
Mm.
second you assume you are communicating to a certain thing, it colours your entire data.
yeah. I mean, like, there was one time there where do you know what I done what everybody else done, called out the spirits and that, and it came to a point where, and I don't know if it was relevant to it, but I kind of suspected it was. I got through the radio, stop being disrespectful.
Hmm.
And then ever since I stopped calling them spirits, I didn't get that. I've got the swearing and stuff. I don't know if it was directed at me. People sometimes jump to the conclusion that when they heard the word F-U-C-K off, that they're directing it at you. They could be having an internal confrontation. You may have more than one communicator, and they could be flipping having a barney.
Yeah.
You know?
Hope the little man feels better soon, Jazzy. Her little fella's sick.
Oh. I hope he gets better soon, Jazz.
Yeah. I agree, though. I think that, like, there needs to be a broadening. Like, many years ago, people said, oh, we've got to stop calling them ghosts because that's disrespectful. So we went from ghosts to spirits. And everyone uses spirits now.
Which is still just as disrespectful.
Yeah, but I think that there needs to be a broader range. That's why I'm trying to... I've started using the word entities, but who's to say that that's not the right, thing to say?
I would say communicators is probably the least offensive of them all.
Exactly, because you need a word that's going to encompass all of them. You know what I mean? Yeah.
A good way of doing it is treat others like you would treat yourself. So, as far as we're concerned, if there's communication, there are others. We don't know if they're human or not. We don't know if they're dead people or not.
Yeah.
But they're still others. So respect them like you would respect a living friend or whatever. And that's why I have to start to rethink my line of questioning at times.
Mm-hmm.
And that continues to change.
Yeah.
As I learn and rather than having a routine and asking the same flipping questions all the time. Can you imagine somebody communicating with you? You're the communicator. And they're asking you, are you dead? Every flipping time.
Yeah.
I would.
No wonder you get swearing on the radio.
I'd stir them so bad. I'd be sitting there like, ooh, yes, I'm dead. I wouldn't be able to help myself.
Oh, I play so many pranks.
I wouldn't be able to help myself.
I want to come back as a shower poltergeist.
I bet you do. Move the curtain.
Yeah.
Standing behind them while they're scrubbing.
Sitting on the shower head with a scorecard.
Oh, that'd be so funny.
I don't know if I'd want to actually come back and haunt people. I suppose I have got a bit of an evil sense of humour, so I probably could see some fun applications.
I'd love to come back and haunt some really demon-obsessed ghost hunters.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Scare the shite out of them.
Throw crap around the room.
Are you a demon?
My name's Desmond.
Desi's a demon.
Just manifest in front of them as exactly what they picture a demon is.
Oh, wouldn't that scare the bollocks out of them?
Yeah, they'll get loads of views on YouTube. We ran for our lives. Warning in capital letters. We should not have come here.
With a picture of the shock face with a red line round them.
Yeah, now.
And you're sitting there as you know, this dead entity watching on the screen. Oh, I'm famous. Eating your little popcorn.
That's my pet hate. The shot face and then the black and white background of a spooky looking place.
Like I did last week.
Back in here.
They always look like a shot straight out of Scooby-Doo.
Oh yeah,
Oh, you should do that, Sam. Next thumbnail. Do like a little Scooby-Doo scene. I dare ya.
You should have Scooby with you in the corner.
Yeah. Yep.
I believe there's a destined time to die. Because I nearly drowned. I nearly died of alcohol poisoning. I nearly died of suffocation as a kid, and I'm still here. You know, I do believe you know, you have got a set time. And when your numbers look up.
Mm. Yeah, I believe that there's a time that we all go.
Well, I do because when I had the NDE, that woman constantly kept insisting to me that I couldn't stay and I've got to go. You know, that was the one reinforcing message over and over and over and over. She kept saying to me, "You've got to get up. You can't stay. You've got to go." You're going to learn to drive better, Seeger.
But the one thing that I can't fully understand, and this is related to my friend, and just before she died, she was the happiest ever.
Mm-hmm.
And she got more and more spiritual, and she was wearing all these crosses and all these holy repeats and stuff like that. And giving away all her stuff. But she was happy. And I think she sort of knew that it was time.
Yeah.
And I can't understand how can somebody be happy with moving on when we don't know what's ahead?
Mm-hmm. I have always
was it pure belief? I don't know.
I have always said that my son's mother's grandmother, who we were living with at the time when Jay was born, I've always said that she knew she was going to die. Because Jay was born in the February, and in the July, she used to live in the back room, and we had the front living room. And she called us into the back room. Now, bear in mind, Julie, it's the middle of summer, and she presented us with this little blue snowsuit for Jay for Christmas. And she said to me and Julie, "I'm giving you this now because I ain't going to be here for Christmas." And died the same night.
Oh wow!
And I've always said, and Julie, Jay's mom, has always believed the same, that she knew she was going to go, and she died of an heart attack. She hadn't got no illness leading up to it. She just had a massive heart attack and died. But on the day she died, she called us into the room, gave us this Christmas present for Jay, which was like a little blue snowsuit, and actually stated it was his Christmas present, and she was giving it to us now because she wasn't going to be here for Christmas. And she actually died. It was about 6 hours later.
Jesus. Kind of makes you think when something like that happens.
Yeah. It was really weird. Really weird.
I would I would love to know with respect, full respect, how they know, whether they have a vision, whether they feel it
Yeah.
soul deep, or whether someone from the other side comes in, you know.
Well, when Jason's dad died recently, I told you this a couple of weeks ago, Julie.
Yeah.
Jace got really upset over his dad dying. Well, the manner of how his dad died, because when it first started, Jace was in the room with him, and he actually stopped breathing and passed away. And Jason said he saw a black figure sitting in the seat in the living room by his dad. Jace ran over to his dad, started shaking him and asking him if he was okay, and he revived him. He came back. And Jace was really upset when his dad died about a week later that he'd actually interfered with the dying process, and his dad hadn't gone to where he should have gone to. And I had to say to him, "Look, Jace, you know, they'd have been there for him again." But Jace is adamant that there was somebody sitting there at the bottom of the bed in the seat, a dark figure, as his dad passed away, and Jace basically revived him, and he disappeared, and then his dad died about a week later. But Jace was really upset over the fact he'd interfered and was convinced that his dad hadn't gone to where he should go because he'd stopped this black figure coming to help him.
Ah, okay. So what did Jace think, that maybe it was? Did he think that it was like a reaper, or did he think that it was family, or did he not know what this figure was? Or
He's never actually said one way or the other. The only thing he said was he believed it was there to help his dad pass over. And he said it was all he said was it was a shadow of a figure sitting in the seat by the bed. You know, there was no features or nothing. It was just a dark. But I know of loads of people who started talking about relatives as they're in the process of passing away.
yeah.
You know, but that did really upset Jace, and he broke down the one night when he was here over it and said, you know, I'm worried about Dad because, and then he told me what had happened, and I said, look, Jace, it's obviously where he's gone to go when you revived him, or he'd have gone. That figure was probably just there watching and waiting. And I think it was about a week later that passed away.
I couldn't imagine that. Like, yeah. I don't know. I think death doesn't scare me. I think that what I leave behind as a human instinct scares me. And I think if I was to go in a painful way, I think that would be scary.
Yeah, I don't think anybody wants to go
No.
in an horrible, painful way.
No.
I've got absolutely no fear of death whatsoever. After after I had it happen when I met that woman, never bothered me from the age of 14. I've never been frightened of dying. The only thing that bothers me is Jay's an only child, and he doesn't have really much contact with my family, and there's nobody on Julie's side. So it bothers me sometimes that Jay will be left on his own when we're all gone. But that's the only thing that bothers me about dying.
Mm.
the interesting thing about, you know, the last couple of weeks and doing so much ITC was the question, are they dead? And they said no. And then, am I dead? And they said yes. So, and then they says, well, if I'm dead, can I be alive? And then they said the future. That's mind-boggling because it's kind of like the exact opposite of the you know what we normally go for. Do you know what I mean? They're dead and we're alive.
Yeah. But I suppose if you think about it though, Sam, it's a rational thing to say, because if they're in another plane of existence, that's life to them. So anybody outside of that like plane, I suppose, is technically dead.
Yeah.
You know, exactly the same as we do it. Anybody outside of this physical plane, we consider to be dead.
Yeah, and they possibly think the opposite because they're now probably free from physical pain.
Yeah.
Because they're an energy source, basically. And freedom.
Yeah.
Do you know, we have people with mobility issues and all sorts of businesses and stuff like that, and they're free.
Mm-hmm.
That's possibly was what was coming across.
Yeah, well, you know, if you read what mediums write about and stuff like that, you know, and I ain't saying that they're genuine, and I ain't saying that they ain't, but they claim that when you pass over, all physical problems are gone. Say if you went over with no legs, when they get to that side, they've got legs again, which I find odd, because if you go into an energy type realm, you don't need legs anyway.
Well, according to Annabelle Cardoso, the communicators do have bodies, but their definition of bodies is probably different than ours.
Yeah. You know, because if you think about, say, like a ball lightning, it's still got like a physical form, shape to it. So I suppose if the soul would be something similar, it would still have, while not physical looking.
Yeah. I'm going to screenshot Julie's studio when I'm finished, and I'm going to turn that seat into a man's head.
Yeah.
It looks like eyes and a head and a blanket over their face.
Yeah. You need to turn it white. It'll look like Casper.
It's amazing what Paradoli will do.
Oh, thank God you come back with your top on. My heart rate has only just steadied out.
Did you tell them?
No, you could tell them.
Oh, so when we were sitting here doing audio checks and stuff before we went live, I had to go off and check the fire and get a drink before we started. So I was gone, and Xavier came in to get my phone.
Tell the full story. You went, I'll be right back.
I'll be right back.
And went off camera.
And went off camera. So Brett and Matt are sitting here, and all of a sudden they see this half-naked person with everything showing walk past the camera and then leave. And they're like, and I got back, and Brett's like, oh my God, did you just walk past the camera or something like that? And, no, that was Xavier. Brett thought I'd walk past the camera with no top on.
He literally walked straight in front of the camera, and all I could see was flesh and two nipples, literally.
Oh, that was funny.
Honestly, it weren't funny. It didn't my heart rate any good.
So what are you saying? I would have thought you would have been able to tell the difference.
It was close. He was right in front of the camera, Julie. You couldn't see any form, just two nipples.
Oh, that would have been hilarious. I would have loved to have seen that. But Xavier comes out in the kitchen and he's like, Mum, I walked past the camera with no top on, and he was looking a bit worried. And I said, we're not live.
Back in a second.
I said, we're not live. It's just Brett and Sam on. And he goes, oh. He realised there were people there. Oh. See you later, Julia. Thank you for coming in. Oh, that was hilarious. Oh, dear. Oh, I don't know what to talk about now. So, are you going to continue with the IT sessions for now, or are you going to get out anywhere else and do any investigation stuff? Or
I have an investigation at the end of July
okay.
in Cumber House.
Oh, that'll be good.
Yeah, it's just what way do we approach it, you know, rather than the norm. And we're sort of thinking, both of us are thinking right now, myself and Rachel, right? Every time we go to Cumber House, we always get contamination by other people.
Mm-hmm.
We should talking about 10 people. You're talking about a room full of equipment.
Yep.
What if we approach it with very little equipment at all?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and maybe ITC and stuff. And every so often, do an ITC session at a table, set up computers, recording everything, and stuff like that. And then every so often, have a walk around.
Yep.
It's very difficult. I don't want to follow a trend like I followed up until now. So we're trying to approach it in a different kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
I have an investigation that I done months ago to go out at some stage, and it's more of the same. Every time I go to an investigation, I come back. Well, I should have done this. And I go into an investigation and I'm rigged with them really expensive equipment and stuff, and I end up I forget to use it.
Yeah.
You tend to walk around with a camera and you're distracted.
Yep.
We didn't do any thermal or anything like that, and I had thermal with me and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. But certainly ITC in a different location.
Mm-hmm.
ITC in a different location does turn out to be very interesting. I find ITC on a coastline, near a beach or near the sea, seems it's very interesting. You come up with interesting stuff. I don't know why that is.
Maybe the water has something
different
to do with
locations
it.
produce different results.
Yep.
Mm.
I understand what you mean,
Don't
though,
know.
because
What we might do, we might bring the big.
oh, you're frozen. Sam's frozen. Sam's frozen. Oh, there you go. You're back now. You froze.
Yeah, my system's overheating.
Ah, okay.
We might bring the big parabolic dish with us
Yep.
and then rig it into a computer and record everything.
That'd be good.
Even though the parabolic dish is going to pick up everybody in the building. Yeah, it's about that size. It's a glass. It's like a satellite dish, but it's made out of glass and it's got a microphone on the front.
Mm-hmm.
And you can hear a mouse barking with this thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Do you know what might be a good thing too? If you're going to do that and there's going to be other people there, have them do, if you can, have them do a radio check. Hi, I'm blah, blah, blah. I'm blah, blah, blah. That way when your friend goes through and does her audio checks with your stuff, she can pinpoint their voice so that if you pick up something, you can go, well, that wasn't anyone that I was with. Do you know what I mean? I don't know whether that's feasible or not.
We have another one, and it's a private house.
Mm-hmm.
And I've already been shown the clip. The man of the house is filming his son dancing around the kitchen. And at the corner, towards the corner of the room, you got the cooker.
Yep.
The big oven built into the units and that, and the glass door shows a woman sitting on the table at the table.
Oh wow!
And he swears blindly that woman was not there. Unfortunately, he didn't pan the camera around to the table because at the time he didn't see it. It was only after he played it back that he noticed the reflection of the wall.
Oh. Sam did get cold.
I'm back.
Hello. Sam's just like, her system's overheating, yeah.
I keep telling her he's got to stop spending money on spirit boxes and buy a decent computer.
Oh, we got two of her. Hang on. Look, we got two of you.
Why have we got two?
I don't know.
I lost internet.
Do I remove the other one? Or should we leave it there?
Well, I'm not getting echoes now. For some reason.
Oh.
My audio's been crap since until now.
I could still hear the slight echo, but not much.
It's not as bad as it was, though.
No, it's very slight echo now.
But what I was saying was, the guy that took this video didn't notice the woman at the time in reflection of the cooker.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out, a woman died in the house matching that description.
Oh.
So we are invited to the house to do a few bits and pieces and stuff, so we might bring that parabolic mic for EVP and stuff like that and do some ITC. But we are going to be doing ITC tomorrow night in Rachel's house.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to be doing a session tomorrow. I don't know if we're going to do it live.
And there she goes again.
She's frozen. Let it go.
Ignore the spraying sounds this fly is doing my head in.
Oh, don't ever come to Australia. Especially certain parts of Australia. You get swarmed with flies.
It keeps landing on the screen as we're talking. You'll probably hear me spraying again in a minute because I don't think I got it.
Yep. It'll come back. Nah.
I just sprayed it all in my coffee as well. Oh.
Oh, here we go. She's coming back as multiple screens.
It's my ghost. It's my double ganger. That's what
You need to leave that other one. You need to leave that other one on. It's a lovely expression.
I will. Oh,
Yeah. You can
Oh,
see I'm a
God,
dark soul.
oh, it's gone. Oh.
What is the flute?
Oh, she's frozen again.
That's an even better expression.
At least she's smiling this time.
Looks like she's sitting on a cucumber there.
I can hear you the whole time.
Oh, I'm dying.
Oh, I've got a sore throat.
I'm dying. Oh. Oh, I just lost it. Oh. Oh, that was hilarious. Oh.
Not happy. I'm not hearing any echo, which is good.
No.
Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
That was the best expression yet. The last one.
Jazz is like, damn, I didn't get a screenshot. It's all right. You can rewind it after.
I don't know what you were laughing at. I have to play back and see.
Didn't you hear the bit about the cucumber?
No.
That was Brett, not me. Oh.
It was the perfect expression, Sam.
Yeah.
You looked extremely happy at the time.
Oh, Christ.
You were smiling at least that time.
Well, I really apologise for my bad internet.
No, it's
Ain't
all
your
right.
fault.
We've had fun with it.
Yeah, I have been financially compensated for the shit service I've been getting, so.
Oh, good. I'm glad they did bloody something then.
Yeah, well, I still have to get rid of them, though.
Yeah, you need to get Virgin in there, Sam. It's an whole new world.
We got Virgin Cable, so it's a possibility. You see, I have signed a contract with British Telecom, but they're not being able to provide the service, so
Yeah,
breaching the contract.
Exactly.
I swapped from BT 6 months ago onto Virgin because I'll give BT the due. It was reliable, but they could only provide up to 54 megabits, and they were charging me 60 quid for it. I now pay that was for 54 megabits. I now pay £38 for 1,000 megabit connection.
Wow. Oh my God.
But that's with Virgin now. I've got gigabit fibre for like half the price. I was paying BT for 54.
Right. Yeah, we've got the infrastructure for Virgin Media.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah, this one's been really good. I can literally download a full 2-hour movie, which is like gigs and gigs of data in about 1.5 minutes.
Ooh, that would take me 2 hours.
Yeah.
Or more.
How many gig?
It's about 6 gigs for a movie.
Takes you about 2 minutes.
1.5 minutes, yeah.
Jeez.
On BT, it took about 2.5, 3 hours.
Jeez, that's a fair bit.
Mm-hmm.
Ours is not that bad here, depending on the weather.
I was actually surprised, Julie, how many people have problems in Australia with their internet.
Oh yeah.
But then thinking about it, I suppose if you're like outside the cities in Australia, they probably ain't laid all the fibre cable or nothing yet.
No, a lot of our cables and things like that, even we're way behind
Yeah.
the rest of the world. Yeah.
Because Ireland is actually, believe it or not, is one of the forerunners in internet.
Wow.
Mind you, that's only because they're like, the size of a gnat's ass, so they can cover the entire area with cable in no time.
Kim's on satellite. Who are you? Like, is it expensive for you, Kim? Because my dad's on satellite. Where my dad lives, he's kind of in a valley. He's got hills either side of him, and it's out of town. So they have to actually have satellite because none of the towers reach them, and they're too far out of town to have cables. So he gets, I think they get 50 gig, and it costs them something like 70 or 80 a month for 50 gig, and 50 gig doesn't go far.
Oh, are they limited on how much they can download?
Yeah, download and use and all that, and most of their usage.
See, I've got unlimited usage on mine.
Yeah, mine's unlimited in town too, but because they're on satellite, and most of their usage, at least half of that 50 gig, is between the hours of like 3 a.m. and 7 a.m. or something stupid like that, which is when you're in bed.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
See, the problem with how internet works as well, when you're on like a limited plan, even if you ain't using the internet, your computer still communicates backwards and forwards so much data all the while to keep connected to the network. So they'll probably include that in your allowance as well.
Yep. And even your phone.
Yeah.
Mm.
See, luckily I've got both my phone and my internet from Virgin now, so everything on my phone is unlimited.
Yep.
But
much better.
What's his name? Elon Musk. He's got that new satellite system out now, and is it Skylink or whatever it's called?
Yeah. Yep.
But it's like over here, Julie. It's like £85 a month, and you gotta pay something like £300 up front for the equipment.
Ooh. That's expensive.
Yeah. Alexa, what's £85 in Australian dollars?
£85 is about 150 Australian dollars and 1 cent.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Unlimited's 100 a month. See, I'm unlimited. I've got cables though. I'm not on satellite. I'm unlimited, and I pay. Mine's 75 a month. It's gone up $5 in the last 6 months.
Which ain't bad because I think that's about 30 quid over here. 35 quid in it.
Yeah, for you guys it'd be cheap.
So that's about what we pay over here in our equivalent.
Yeah, the same. Yeah.
Trouble with you lot though, if you're out in the sticks and something happens on that cable, it's a lot of cable they have to look through to find the problem. Whereas here we've got like boxes every 100 meters, and they can work out part of the box where the problem is.
Oh yeah, they have that here too. They have it in section and have boxes, so they can test the lines and see where the problem is. Yeah. So they can go to that section or whether it's from the curb or the gutter to your house, whether it's there or yeah.
Kim says with satellite, if it rains, she loses the internet. Well, that'd do my head in.
If Oh, if it's raining and really overcast, it can make it slow here. But thunderstorms, our internet will just sit there and think. It's terrible.
Yeah, I've only ever had my internet affected once by a thunderstorm, and that was when we had that lightning strike over the road when I was on the phone to Sam.
Yeah, when you got a little too close.
Yeah, and it's actually burned out my router.
Jeez,
That's right.
I'm
And it was
surprised it
one hell of a boom.
would have singed your eyebrows, wouldn't it?
I felt the shockwave off it.
Yeah, I bet.
The smell can be very sulphuric kind of thing.
The smell, the ozone after was incredible. It's got the most weird coppery smell to it ever.
Yeah.
See, and I always thought like lightning bolts are like the thickness of a finger. This one was like 8 inches across. When they're a lot bigger than that you think they are.
Yeah, I end up with a headache when there's thunder and lightning.
Yeah, I do.
I'm sensitive to EMF, you know.
I do. I get terrible headaches when it's thunderstorm weather.
And it's one of those cracking, really sore headaches.
Mm.
Migraines are the worst. That's probably what it's like, migraines.
It is like migraine, Julie.
Yeah.
It's like your skull's slowly being squeezed in a vice.
Praying the rain stays away today. Playing 40 minutes of Thin Lizzy in a field later. Would rather not play to an audience of cows.
Oh, Sam, I was looking at an article earlier on really interesting facts that are true. And it's quite up because you're on and Julie's on. It says you are more liable to be killed by a cow than a shark.
Oh, lovely.
And that is a true fact.
Which is. I can vouch for that. I can definitely vouch for that.
The cows over here are quite placid and stupid, unless you come across like the really big bulls.
Yeah, they look placid and stupid until you panic one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I worked on a farm, and if a cow looked at me the wrong way, I would run.
Yeah.
I'm afraid of things that are bigger than me.
I'd go and yeah.
I had a cow that ran towards me, and I had to try and get it into a pen. And I started it, and it was coming towards me, and it stopped, and it skidded on the concrete, fell, slid, knocked me off my feet. I ended up on top of the cow, and then the cow panicked and got up on that and threw me off. I thought, flipping hell, that was close.
Yeah, you was lucky down roll on you.
Yeah, because it skidded across the yard and knocked me like a skittle, and I ended up on top of the cow, and then the cow panicked and got up on that, but threw me off. You know?
I would have hung on and rode it like a bull.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you don't want to be trapped.
I bet you would.
Where's that going? Many years ago when I was a teen and I'd go out with my dad cutting firewood, and we'd be in the paddock, and they stay clear of you while the chainsaw's going. Then you stop the chainsaw for a cup of tea or something, and the cows will come around where you've been cutting and poop over everything. So then you got to walk through big cow pats.
I remember as a kid, we went out the one day into the country, and we were walking in this field, and there was all cows in there, and they started coming towards us, and they like crowd you, and we ended up a tree for 2 hours until the farmer turned up and got rid of them, because they'd literally all gathered round the tree, and you just couldn't get through them. So we had to sit up a tree for 2 hours till the farmer came and shifted them.
Oh my God.
I remember.
You have a good night, Jess.
I remember as a kid taking a shortcut across the field and the cows chased me, and I ran for the fence, and then I got my trousers stuck on the barbed wire fence. I ripped the arse of my trousers.
Pays to advertise.
I tell you, the only time I've ripped my trousers jumping a fence was in my early 20s, and me and a couple of people, we were drunk, and one night we thought we'd go and, have you ever heard of rocking someone's roof?
No, but please do tell more. It sounds promising.
You throw rocks on someone's roof, and then when they come outside, you hide.
Oh, we knocked the letterboxes and run off as kids.
No, we'd throw rocks on the roof. Well, we had tin roofs over here most of the time. So we did that, and one night they came out and they were chasing us. So we had to run really fast, and here's me drunk trying to climb a bloody fence that had barbed wire on the top, and I got stuck to the barbed wire. It was the funniest thing. Oh.
The things you do when you're in your 20s.
and your teens, I know. Oh, they were the good old days.
Remember my two sons? Like, my two sons are pure pranksters. Like, we were in the country, and one of my sons decided to piss off this bull, and the bull was at the fence, grunting and stamping the bucket and everything.
Yep.
And the other son says, "Do you realise if that bull goes through that fence, we're all dead?" And then this other son goes, "Oh yeah, I forgot about
that." Oh dear.
Mind you, I find it funny when you watch a lot of these paranormal channels when they go out in the woods, and you could tell they've never been in the country in their life, and they hear something, something comes through the undergrowth, or there's an owl, a barn owl screaming somewhere. Jesus, some of the things they claim is unbelievable. You could always tell people who've had no country experience.
One of the most terrifying things, if anyone's ever experienced it, if you're out at night in the bush or near bush and you hear a koala start grunting, they sound terrifying. Have you ever heard a koala grunt?
No, but I've heard they make really strange noises.
They do. Yeah, they do.
Remember one night panning around with a night vision scope and that. Next thing you can see these two eyes looking back at me from a distance. it was a cat in the ditch. I was just sitting there looking at me.
Over here, it tends to be barn owls, because people presume that owls make a hooting noise. But barn owls don't, they actually scream, and they do sound human when they scream. I always love it if there's a barn owl on somebody's paranormal channel, because they totally freak.
It's the banshee.
Yep.
I'm just finding this sound and I'll play it to you.
I've heard they make a really strange noise.
It's not on mute, is it?
Or if there's a donkey in the field and it starts.
Yeah.
You get no warning whatsoever, and it could be right beside you.
Yeah.
You just don't get any warning. It's just really, really loud noise.
Oh, here we go. He's looking like he's gonna... Come on.
Sounds like a wild boar.
That's a koala.
Jesus.
See? Koala.
That actually sounded like a wild boar.
Yep. They're terrifying.
Imagine encountering that in the middle of a wood.
I know. Ghost hunting and you hear that. Oh.
Everything over here tends to be screamers more so than grunters. Foxes scream, cats scream, and owls scream. I think the only real grunter we've got over here is badgers.
Oh, I've never
we
seen
rarely
a
see
badger.
them.
Yeah. And they make a proper grunting noise like that.
Yeah, that's the nearest thing that we have to a bear.
Yeah.
A badger.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're not that big.
You wouldn't want to mess with one.
No, actually, no. That's what I heard.
They're quite capable of taking fingers off.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently they don't let go until they've snapped a bone or something. And
Yeah.
if you snap a stick, they'll let go.
Yeah, they lock. The jaws lock.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah,
We
that
get
was a male.
We get them quite regular here.
I've never seen one in it. I've never seen a living one.
Yeah, there's a guy in Sheffield just down the road who I watch. He streams like his birds and his garden on a night. He gets badgers every night. He had 5 in his garden the other night. They're pretty shy though, Julie. If they see you, they tend to bolt. It's only if they're cornered that they turn nasty.
How big are they?
They're about 2.5 foot long.
Oh, is that all?
Yeah, about the size of a terrier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Way back years ago, I used to, a couple of nights a week, would go to McDonald's and get some chips or whatever and sit on the picnic benches outside, even in the winter time, with my coat all wrapped up and everything. And this box, after a little while, this box will come out of the shrubbery beds, and I would leave some chips at the end of the bench, and people in the drive-thru would go, "There's Dr. Doolittle over there, look at this flipping box." And if I turn my head, the box would kind of get started, so I would just not move suddenly and just look at the corner of my eye, and it's just a pity I didn't record at the time.
Yeah.
I'd be sitting there eating my chips, and the box would be at the end of the table eating.
Yeah. There's loads of videos on YouTube of people over here who've befriended wild foxes, and they come in the house and have a fuss and all sorts. They can get quite trusting, foxes.
Jeez.
There's a guy, and he was actually on the Irish news. An old guy who was a farmer, and he made friends with this box. When we had lockdown, and he nicknamed the box COVID. The box. And he'd eat out of his hand. It was great.
Yeah. I've noticed in Australia there's a lot of people who befriend kookaburras, and they have them coming in the houses and taking food and stuff.
Yeah, if you feed them, like if you go outside, if you get them in your area, and you go outside and you feed them, they'll keep coming back, and they can keep coming back the same time every day, and they will get quite friendly.
Yeah,
they do love meat though.
There's a couple I've watched. There's a woman in Australia, and every time it rains, she's got like patio doors, and she opens them, and there's about 4 of them come in and sit in the house till the rain's over.
I love them. I love the kookaburras. They're so beautiful. We get a few in the yard here, particularly in the springtime and that, because we've got a field out the back, and when the grass grows quite high, we get a lot of mice in the field.
Yeah.
So the cats and the kookaburras and that will go and catch the mice.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's quite cool.
We had a report here that apparently we've got a peregrine falcon in the area at the moment.
Oh, wow.
Thankfully taking out all the wall pigeons because they're becoming a problem. But they're the fastest bird in the world.
Pity they didn't get rid of your rat problem.
Yeah, no. Not even the local feral cats do, though. They just sit on the wall and watch them.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Too well fed.
Yeah, out of all the bins of the dirty buggers around here who never put them out.
Jeez.
There's one about 3 doors up. Now, the gardens here ain't massive, Julie, but they're like, I'd say they're 40, 50 foot long and about 12 foot wide. And they have got nothing but bin bags in the garden full of rubbish rather than putting them out. And that's where they're all coming from.
Is it like a hoarder situation?
No, they're just
dirty.
They've come from a country where it must be normal because they all do it round here.
Ah, okay. Jeez, I couldn't imagine that.
It's disgusting. Honestly, it's absolutely gross.
Oh, her computer's thinking again.
Gone back for a new cucumber.
Oh, she's gone.
Oh.
I love that freaking squirrel. There we go. It's all good.
I think my system is overheating. That's what's wrong.
Yeah.
It's been you've had it really cold, like in Australia. Eh?
Yeah, actually, it hasn't been too bad. Like the nights get really cold, but most of the days are between sort of 10 and. Hang on, let me get my little weather chart up. I've been keeping track of it for my blanket. So the coldest day that we've had in the last week was about 13 degrees. And that's the high. And the warmest day we've had as a top temperature was 17.8.
Believe it or not, it hasn't dropped below 13 degrees here in weeks. We've been in the middle of an heat wave. It's murder. It's really, really muggy. Really humid. The other day we had 31, which is off for over here.
That's really warm for you guys.
Yeah.
We're on 16 at the moment.
Let's see where I am here.
And rain forecast.
We've had no rain here, so I'm sick of having to water the garden.
You've had no rain?
No rain.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. We're in a La Nina here. So for the last 6-8 months at least, we've had like non-stop rain almost all the time. Like it's just rain. Yeah.
It's 21 degrees here at the moment.
21, jeez.
Yeah, I'm just 16.
Oh, I wish it was 16 here.
Yeah, see, I'm further north. I'm across from Scotland.
Yeah, you're roughly the same latitude as me.
Yeah.
You're quite close to me in Yorkshire in terms of latitude, because Yorkshire borders on Scotland.
All right.
Oh, Kim's lucky because Kim's in sunny Queensland. It was 21 today and it's 12 degrees here now.
Yeah,
so
it's 21 here now, and I think the humidity. Hang on, I'll tell you what the humidity is.
I'm 8 degrees right now, Celsius.
Oh, this one don't show the humidity. Oh, it does. We're at 40% humidity at the moment, which is really humid for you.
Yeah. That's the worst heat too, when it's humid, because it's
Yeah.
suffocating. Yeah.
Yeah. It's been horrible. The only one who's enjoying it is Yowie.
Oh, I bet. Oh, you're gonna have to like send me a photo of Yowie. I haven't seen her for ages.
Yeah, Jace is frightened of her now because she's bigger than a rat.
Oh, gee, she must be big now.
Yeah, she's about 16 inches now.
Wow. Jeez.
She don't look like a baby anymore. She's a proper, full-blown adult.
Yeah, she'd be fully grown.
Yeah.
Gee. Does she come out often, or you just take her out every now and again?
I normally take her out when Jay's ain't here, and sometimes I'll shut the dogs out and stick her on the computer desk. I want to get me a lead though, because I want to start taking her in the garden.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Probably eat all my plants, but there you go.
Oh, I might save you a bit on food.
Doubt it. She's a bottomless pit.
Really, still?
Mm-hmm.
Jeez. So what does she eat now? The same?
Locusts, moria worms, dubia cockroaches, rocket, butternut squash,
Jeez.
broadleaf parsley, peas, blueberries, you name it, she'll scoff it.
Oh, jeez.
They're supposed to grow out of insects, not her.
Oh no, she likes them too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kim said you got to video that. You should make a little video of her feeding or something.
Yeah, I'll get it. She'll take it out your fingers. You wave a rocket leaf in front of you, and she's like a bloody chameleon.
She's like, "Yep, I'll have that."
Yeah, she'll eat anything.
Jeez.
I don't know if I've actually. Hang on, I'll go and take a picture of you and send it to you, and you can put it up then.
Yes.
I don't know if I'm having connection issues still, but it's been glitching in and out. I think it's the system is overheating.
Yeah. Since you come back, you've been okay so far.
Until the next time.
Yeah, until the next time.
Yeah, I'm really sorry about that.
No, that's all right. It happens. It happens.
You know, I have to sort of sort out a proper studio, properly directly connected, and obviously new internet.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm thinking of setting up a studio in my broom closet, I think. So I can have all my radios in the one room and stuff like that. It's a small little area kind of thing.
Yeah, if it works for you, it'd be perfect.
You know, or just get a new house.
With a garden.
Oh, definitely.
Yes. Absolutely.
You know, every piece of equipment comes in, it just swallows up space. It's just tiny.
Yeah.
You know.
It'd be nice for you to have a little place with a garden that has a spare room, even if it's a small room, that you can have as just your office. Just have a space.
That's the dream. You know, kind of like a little summer house outside.
Yep.
And you go in there and you have your little studio and your creepy dolls and radios and all that kind of stuff.
Hello, Dustin. That'd be really cool.
If I had a summer house, I'd be out there most of the time. Do you know, that kind of way?
Yeah. Do box sessions in your little garden area. Have a little table and just sit there.
Yeah. You know, yeah.
There you go, I just sent it.
Okay.
Little fat young.
Oh my God, she's huge. Oh my gosh.
No longer a baby.
Holy cow. Do you want me to show everyone?
Yeah, you can show people if you want to see it.
I don't know if they'll be able to see it on my phone. I might have to put it up. Oh, there you go. They can see it, can they?
Yeah.
I might have to put it up. Oh, and it turns it. Hang on, I'll send it to my computer. Share.
And as you can see, she's still that lovely orangey red colour.
Yeah, like before she was kind of the orange and all of that was kind of in darker, lighter shades, whereas now she's just one orange palette.
Yeah, she's still got it all on her head. She's got all that shading.
She's so fat, Brett.
Yeah. She's a pig.
She's so fat. I'm just opening it up and then I'll show you guys. Hope you have a good day too, Dustin. Thank you.
It's hard to believe that 4 months ago she fit in the palm of my hand from head to tip of tail.
That is unbelievable.
That's just a body. You need to double the size of that length for a toe.
She's looking at your phone too, or your camera, whatever. Like, what are
Yeah,
you
she
doing?
looked see if I was going to give her anything to eat. That's what I was looking for.
Oh, is that what it was? All right. Oh. Hang on.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
You can see everything. All right, window. Fix that one. What? Let's try this again. It's saying it's lost permission to capture my screen.
What?
The lock in the bottom left corner. What freaking lock in the bottom left corner?
It says bottom left corner, and you're looking at every corner.
Yeah,
so you're now
because
left from right.
No, because there's no lock in the bottom left, so I'm just checking the top bar, but it's not there. Just have a look. No. Let's go to my settings. It's saying that Chrome needs permission, which is just BS.
Have we lost Sam again?
Yeah, it just went quiet.
Oh, look, Julie, she don't like that cucumber. Must have accidentally grabbed the cactus.
She's like, oh, no.
I'm not looking forward to looking at this back.
Oh. Hang on. What slides?
See, this is what happens when you buy a crappy Mac.
Oh, no, it's because because I use Chrome for freaking, streaming and stuff.
Yeah, I'll use Chrome.
So it's changed all my permissions since I updated it. Stupid thing. Let's look at my permissions here. It's not there.
It should pop up as a box.
Maybe I'll just share my entire screen.
Yeah, that'll be easier.
And just do that.
Coco, be quiet.
No.
The postman.
It is actually Sam. I've just heard somebody's letterbox go.
You see, I'm a psychic.
Yeah, I can't do it right now. Frickin' thing. I've got to go to my system preferences apparently, and it won't let me do that without kicking me off the stream.
Oh, that's annoying.
Stupid, pissy thing.
See, on the PC, you could have just done that.
Yes. Anyway, I'll give them another look. There you go. That's how big she is.
I was going to add that.
She's massive. I've never seen a bearded dragon that big. She is huge. I think you feed it too much.
Do you know what I said? I'm psychic. There's the postman. I was going to elaborate, and I says I can send somebody with a red jumper and a thing. I said you better not.
Oh my god. She's so beautiful. I'll get a beanie one day. One day.
Let's go in the back garden and grab one.
Oh, it's ironic because I haven't seen one around here. If I go out of town near my dad's place to the river, I'll see water dragons and that.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen a bearded dragon for ages.
Because they go into what they call brumation in winter for you, and they basically find somewhere to hide, and then they literally go into like it's hibernation. They hibernate.
Mm-hmm.
I seen a video. I think it was in America where these iguanas were taking over this public park and attacking people and stuff.
Oh yeah, I used to have a male iguana, and he was 6 foot long, and he was a bit funny because if he took a dislike to you, they turned sideways, they flatten the body out, and then they use the tail like a whip, and they whip at people. But their tails have got like spines on them, and they're quite sharp. And the other thing about iguanas is they can sense when it's a woman's time of the month, and they get a little bit amorous and do it as well to women. So you have to be careful if you're a woman with an iguana.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I've seen a video of these. It's to do with air rifles and stuff like that, where these pest controllers had to come in and eradicate some.
Yeah, in Florida, they've got a real problem with them. So that they come and they literally come and shoot them. They're everywhere.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I used to see beardies all the time when I would fruit pick many years ago when I did fruit picking, because they'd run up into the trees to eat the fruit.
Yeah. You've actually got different subspecies over in Australia.
Yeah. Yep.
The eastern ones, which is what Yowie is, and then you've got the central ones, which are like darker, and then you've actually got a dwarf format as well.
Yeah, where I am, I'm probably a little more south than where I grew up, but we get like the browny greyish colour ones.
Yeah, I think the eastern ones have a yellow mouth. When they open the mouth, it's yellow inside the mouth.
Yeah.
Whereas
Yep.
Yowie, when she opens her mouth, it's pink.
Yep.
They're paler Yowie species than the ones you probably see.
I'm actually southeast where I
Yeah,
am. I'm at
yeah,
the bottom of New South Wales.
yeah, you'll probably get the eastern ones.
Yeah. Yep.
What you doing now? Somebody's dirty mind's kicked in.
All right, we might finish the stream. Everyone's kind of disappeared apart from Kim and Dustin and someone else. So. All right. Well, thank you, Brett and Sam, for joining me again.
You're welcome.
Thanks very much for having us on.
Thank you. And thank you to everybody else for coming in and for sharing and liking and joining in the conversation. So, yeah, we'll see you guys again next week. Stay safe.
See you next week.
Bye, guys.